What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Zero Lab. Today we're taking a look at another iteration of the Giratina Darkrai EX deck in Pokemon TCG Pocket. This deck is probably the best deck in the game right now, and the question is there any reason to play any other deck than this as you're grinding the ranked ladder? I myself have not been able to grind a bunch of the ranked ladder, or as much as I'd like to, as I've been preparing for the Atlanta Regional Championships, which is coming up next weekend. Big rotation format for the IRL TCG, so I haven't had as much time to grind TCG Pocket, but this deck is certainly very good, and excited to show it off for you today. So we're playing one Mew EX in here, two Giratina EX, two Darkrai EX, two Pokeballs, two Giant Capes, two Rocky Helmets, two Research, a Sabrina, a Leaf, a Cyrus, a Dawn, and then two Pokemon Center Ladies for some healing. And then that red supporter card that lets our Pokemon do 20 more damage to our opponent's EXs. So we're going to grind a few games out on the ranked ladder with this deck and see how we can do with the Giratina Darkrai with the Mew EX. Obviously, the other version of the deck does play the Druddigons in the active to kind of soak up some damage early on, and then you go into those Giratinas. This version, we don't have that, but we do have some healing with the Pokemon Center Lady. And those sorts of things. So I think this is a very interesting version of the deck, and we'll see how it goes. We are going first. We've got a Pokeball, hoping that will find us our Giratina. And then we'll start the battle here. Looks like we're going up against an opposing Darkrai Giratina deck. So I guess we'll see which one fares better. We're going to Pokeball here. That finds us our Giratina EX. That's huge. And then we will Broken Space Bellow to end our turn here. See what our opponent's got going on. Research on our opponent's side of the board. Going to draw them two Pokeball. I'm sure they're hoping this finds them their Giratina if they don't have one in hand yet. Darkrai EX come down. Giratina EX as well, attach for turn, I'm sure, onto the Darkrai. And then a Broken Space Bellow for them as well. We find a second Darkrai here. We will bench that. And then we will actually attach to the benched Darkrai. We don't want to power up the one that they're going to be doing damage to. And Broken Space Bellow. We have the Leaf in hand to retreat whenever we need to. So I think we're going to be just fine. Another Pokeball here from our opponent. Probably going to find them. They would probably want... What do they want? Another Druddigon? More Nightmare Aura damage coming down onto our Darkrai EX, and then another Broken Space Bellow from our opponent. We've got the Dawn. So we're going to attach for turn here. Do another 20 to our opponent. We'll put the Giant Cape here. Obviously, we can't have them getting the first two prize cards. Let's see here. We do 150 with a red. So I think we want the other Giant Cape on our Giratina. We've already attached for turn. So I think we're just going to Broken Space Bellow here. Would be nice to draw into our Sabrina. Got the Giant Capes coming down. Broken Space Bellow will end their turn. There's our Sabrina. I think we'll attach for turn here this turn. Heal off some of that damage. And then Broken Space Bellow. See if they do decide to attack here. Not sure if they will. It is unfortunate that they've been able to draw through a little bit more of their deck than we have with that research and double Pokeball. Looks like no attack here. We have a couple of options. We could Sabrina this turn. Gotta assume they're attacking next turn. So I think we want to Sabrina this turn. See what they choose to send up. They choose to send up the Giratina. Attach for turn here. 250 there. Then we'll retreat into here. We will Chaotic Impact. Obviously, that does give them an opening here. They can take the one shot on our Giratina between the Nightmare Aura and their Chaotic Impact attack. But the Chaotic Impact would then knock themselves out. Which what I'm hoping they'll have to do, unless they play like a potion. So we'll see what they choose to do here. Test return onto the Darkrai. Are they going to go for the knockout on our Darkrai? That's the question. Or on our Giratina, not our Darkrai, on our Giratina. If they do, they knock themselves out. And they are going to go for it. So that puts them in a pretty dangerous spot. We're going to send up our healthy Darkrai. That's got energy on it. I assume they're going to send up their Darkrai as well. Yeah, they kind of have to. This is our turn, and we get the Cyrus for the game. Top deck of the Cyrus. Attach for turn to our Darkrai. And then the Dark Prism for the knockout. That was a really interesting mirror match. Not a full mirror. Obviously, they're playing the Druddigons, which make things a little bit more interesting. But we were able to get there. We put them in an awkward position when we top decked that Sabrina. And then we got the Cyrus for the game. So, yeah, that was a very fun game. And we came out on top. Doesn't necessarily mean this version of the deck is better than the Druddigon version. Just because we were able to beat it. But I do think that this version of the deck is very good. We're going to go into a game 2 now. Heads, we are going first, so as long as we get a Giratina out, we're going to be happy. Looks like we did not get a Giratina out, though. Going up against Grass deck, this could be a Celebi deck. Could be an Executor EX deck. Could be a Meowscarada. Looks like it is the Meowscarada. We do top deck the Research. That's huge for us. Hopefully that can get us into another basic Pokemon. It does not, but we get the Rocky Helmet. We'll throw that on the Mew. Why not? And we'll end our turn there. 12 cards in deck. 4 EXs, 2 Pokeballs, 1 Research. That's 7 cards out of the 12. That would be good for us to top deck. But for now, we'll just power up the Mew. This could be a tough matchup for us if they get set up quickly, especially because we are not getting set up quickly. It doesn't look like. Obviously, this top deck could change a lot. Just another Pokemon Center lady. We already had one in hand. We'll just have to end our turn here. We may be in a little bit of trouble just because we did not find our Giratina or our Darkrai. Pass over to us, not wanting to hit into us. Alright, we'll attach to the Darkrai. Doing 20 damage to that Floragato. It's unfortunate because the Meowscarada does knock out our Mew and our Darkrai. So if they've just got the Meowscarada in hand, I believe they've won. Looks like they do 130 to our Mew, and then weakness on our Darkrai will be the knockout as well. So that is unfortunate. I think we're going to concede this one. I don't know that there's even anything we could top deck that would make that better. We're just going to go into a game 3. Meowscarada decks do certainly seem to be the better stage 2 decks right now. Going into a game 3 here. Tails, we are going second this time. Going up against a water deck. Starting the Mew again. Waiting on our opponent here. Double Magikarp coming down. Alright, they're playing the Gyarados Greninja deck. We should be pretty fine into this as long as we get set up quickly. Top deck of the Giratina is really nice. Drawn into a Darkrai here would be great, and we are able to do that. So we're just going to start with the Nightmare Auras and the Broken Space Bellows. And leave it at that for our turn. Knocking out these Magikarps with 2 Nightmare Auras. Pretty strong way to start the game. Pokemon communication from our opponent here. Pass back over to us. All right, we will get the knockout here on this Magikarp with our Darkrai. And I will attach this Rocky Helmet to the Mew. And we'll do a Broken Space Bellow. Research from our opponent here. We'll see if they find their Gyarados. There's the Greninja coming down, so they're going to start using those Water Shurikens. Attach for turn onto that Magikarp. Evolve up into the Gyarados. Water Shuriken onto our Giratina. Another Froakie coming down. Just a pass here. We're going to Pokeball. Another Giratina EX. Attach return onto our Darkrai. And then a broken Space Bellow. Another Water Shuriken coming down onto our Darkrai. Pass over to us. Got another Rocky Helmet here. We'll throw that on the Giratina. All right, putting that Greninja in range of our Darkrai now. We'll just Broken Space Bellow. Obviously, they could have X speed plus attached return to knock out our Mew. I'm going to start setting up damage on our other Giratina. There's the X speed. That's unfortunate. And they're going to discard an energy from our Darkrai there. But I believe we have game. Can we hit 180? We hit 130, 150, 170. All right. So we're going to attach for turn here. Then play red. So that if they hit into our Rocky Helmet, it knocks them out. They can obviously knock us out with the Rampaging Whirlpool now, but they will be knocked out in return from the damage from the Rocky Helmet. Unless they've got a Cyrus to target down our Darkrai EX. Water Shuriken. Gonna put 20 on our Giratina. They have the Irida. Alright. Have the Irida to heal off that damage and the Rampaging Whirlpool for the knockout. And that'll be the game. So, things didn't go well today for us with the Giratina Darkrai deck. Maybe the Dredagon's better, but decide for yourselves. Play both versions. See what you think. Don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.